and around the belly, because I'm not going to use that belly. Now what I do is I take the top inch of the knife, and I make that cut. All I'm doing is putting the knife in that part. And I'm making that cut right along the inside of that dorsal, okay? So I'm running that knife down along the dorsal fin. When I get past that dorsal fin, I'm past the rib cage. So I go all the way through and out to the tail. Now what I'm using is down pressure. And what down pressure is I'm using the knife along the spine, and I feel the actual push of the spine and out to the tail. So like so. And what I've done is run that knife right tight along like so, okay? Messy, but not too messy. Now I make little guiding strokes with the knife. 3 parts of the knife I use. Let me talk about knives real quick. The difference between this and a regular conventional knife, can you clean it with a kitchen knife? Absolutely, like for chopping vegetables, but the biggest notice you make is the flexibility of the blade. No fish is the same size. They're all different species. Grapple makes probably 50 different models, but the general design is the same on all of them, just the length of the blade. You have that narrow tip, which I showed you on the first cut. You have the center here, and you have a stiffer part here, which is good for cutting through backbone and cutting through, if you need some muscle and some torque, that's the part of the knife you want to use. So the first cut I make is with that top tip, and this is where the firm flesh makes a big difference. So now what I do is I'm making just gentle strokes with the knife. You have 2 ways of doing it. You can cut through the ribs, or you can go around the ribs. Keeping in mind that every time you cut through ribs, that's another way of dulling your knife up that much quicker. So I like to go around the ribs just because your knife stays sharper longer and you spend a lot less time sharpening it. So what I'm doing now is I'm making just gentle motion with the knife. When it hits a rib, you got 2 choices. Push harder, cut through the rib, or I go glide right around the ribs. And that's what I'm doing here now. So what I'm going to do is just that gentle, I'm lifting back on the fillet, and I'm dragging the knife along. And this is where it being firm flesh, because it's cold, makes a big difference. So what I've done is I've just done those gentle strokes along the rib cage, and the knife just glides around them like so. Okay? You're left with the fillet. Do the same on the other side. When I'm running my charter business on Lake Erie, I fish from 7 in the morning till 1, and again from 2 till 8. So I have an hour to clean my client's fish, clean the boat, maybe have a sandwich, put some gas in, re-ice the boat, and go. So anytime I can save on cleaning fish, I'll take it. So this technique, I'm slowing it way down just for demonstration purposes. But when I'm doing them on the boat, I just hack the sides right off. And by law, you need to send the clients home with some skin on the fish. So that's how I send them home with the client, just like that. But I'm going to show you how to get them ready for the frying pan. So I make that first cut to there, and then I go all the way through and right out to the tail. Right out to the end. Again, the nice sloping, slow motion with the knife. Very little pressure, guys. Just gentle with it. And it goes around the ribs, and I peel it back. The glove comes in really handy for here. See how I'm peeling it around? The knife hits the rib, and it only cuts through the flesh. It's not going to cut through the ribs. Second fillet. I always take the cheeks out, especially on these big ones. Everybody says it's the best meat, but you need a lot of cheeks to fill this belly here. So.
Paul, that's just a circular cut around the cheek to get it out.
The glove makes a huge difference for this. So what I do, and good question, Rand. See how the skin's still there? What I do is, if you look at the anatomy of the skull here, it's actually a cup. So the cut is literally around like that, and I'm feeling down pressure on the bone. And this is all cartilage here. So I make the cut. There's a tendon that attaches that cheek up there. And if you watch at the end, that's how I popped it off.
Yeah.
And I leave the skin on the front part because it's attached just behind the eye, and that's how I popped it out. And that last little nick for the tendon, I just use the glove to snap it out. All the waist is here.
Would the Excalibur crossbow rep please come to the hunting department?
He's watching a fish cleaning demonstration. He can't come to the department. All right, so this is how I send them home with clients. I'm going to show you how to get them ready for the table. So what we do like this is get a good hold of the skin all the way out to the end. Now if I'm away with a bunch of guys and we're fishing and I know I'm going to do most of the fish cleaning for everybody, I do that. because for the ministry, that's still legal because it's identifiable, it's all in one piece. And then when I get home, I can just do this and pull that little tag off, and then it's done. Then you don't have to go bury that in the backyard for your Jack Russell to dig up. Personal experience. They are good for the tomato gardens too, the carcasses, guys. So that's like so. I'll do the same on this one. This is where the good sharp knife comes in, and the glove makes a huge difference, because if I was trying to hold on to that slippery slimy without the glove, it makes a big difference. Right out to the end, I go all the way to the end and then back it up and just leave that little tag on there. And I've had Ministry of Natural Resources guys look in our coolers and see the fillets. You got the piece of skin and it's easily countable. What they don't like is the next step that I'm going to show you. So this is something you should usually do just at home. So what I do, every fish has a lateral line. If you're not familiar with the lateral line is, on the outside it's just a change of the scales on the outside of the fish. On the fillet, it's very prominent. You see that dark colored piece of meat down the center? On a walleye in particular, it also has a little set of pin bones. At my house, if fillet's got bones in, we're not having fish for dinner. So it's imperative that I get those out. I'm going to show you a little trick here. I call it zippering. What I do is I make a cut on either side of that discolored meat. So this is what you end up with, folks. All it is a cut on either side. Everybody see that okay? And it comes away just like this. That discolored meat's in there. That has the lateral line. Anybody catch some fish, freeze them, bring them out and cook them, and they taste a little gamey on the gamey side, a little fishy taste? Have that? That's what makes that happen. If you freeze them without that in, there's a lot less chance of you having that fishy taste. And if you feel it with the finger or just the glove, you can feel those tiny little pin bones in there. Take those out before you put them in the frying pan. The other thing that I'm an advocate of, if you look at this fillet, especially on larger fish, notice the difference. It's almost an inch thick at the top and tapers down to almost nothing. A lot of people will throw that in the frying pan like that. This is what I do. I cut them in chunks, and what I do is when it's cooking time, these big pieces go in the oil first, throw these in towards the end, then everything's cooked uniform. Because if you throw it in whole like that, one of two things are going to happen. The small pieces are overcooked or the large pieces are undercooked. So take off the tag. Again, it's very simple. Cut on either side of that lateral line. That's all it is. And this is how simple it is. It's no effort whatsoever. Just no pressure, and the whole lateral line's like that. It's much nicer, cleaner flesh. Last, before I throw them in the oil, what I'm going to do is I would take that and take a metal bowl or a steel bowl, half a dozen ice cubes, a little bit of table salt, whisk it around. It takes off all the traces of blood, takes off any of the slime remnants there, and then I pat them dry with a paper towel, and they're good to go. Questions at all, anybody? Buddy, you just ruined my whole pitch for my DVD that it's all on a